And now over to our next speaker, Adam. Kia ora, Adam. I hope I said that right in my best Maori. Adam is a creative and design thinker from New Zealand, currently based in Amsterdam as the experience director for Philips. His passion is human-centered design, and he's going to share this with us all today. Over to you, Adam.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Len. That was incredible. Thank you, Steph, for the introduction. Tēnā koutou katoa. Hello, everybody. And thank you for sharing this space and moment together. Firstly, let me introduce myself. I'm from a coastal place in Aotearoa, New Zealand, an island of many within Te Moana Nui a Kiwa, the great ocean of Kiwa, also known as the South Pacific. I'm part Māori, who are the indigenous people of New Zealand. I'm also part Irish and Scottish, descendants from early immigrants. A big family of farmers and fishermen, nurses and teachers. I am cis male and I identify as queer. I'm from the tribe Ngāti Kahanunu. My hapu or sub-tribe is Ngāti Pahuera. My mountain is Mangahururu and my river is Mohaka. My wharenui is Te Kahu o Te Rangi. It is where I grew up and spent a lot of my childhood. This is my mihi, or my tribal coordinates, made up of geographic, social, and genealogical points. It's with this that I can trace my whakapapa, or my ancestry back, 30 generations, back to the Great Migration, to the Waka Takitimu that came over from Hawaii. These threads of my history provide my anchor point within this world, the place that I stand. In the Māori world, our ancestors live within and around us, eternally present. Our concept of space and time is intimately intertwined. We have a saying for it, ka mua ka muri, or walking backwards into the future, where our connection with the past helps us make sense of today, and in doing so, helps us know in which direction we're heading. Identity and culture is also in constant motion, flowing in and out of time and context. We travel long distances, we move to other places, we learn and discover, we immigrate, mix and merge, we embody other cultures, other families and whānau. This constant layering up of identity over time, forming our unique perspectives. I invite you to reflect on your own mihi. Where did you come from? And how did you get here? Design is a reflection of culture, and we are all living in a world that is designed, full of designed systems. Our Western culture is built on notions of progress and capitalism and consumption. We praise the values of convenience and efficiency. Through these forces over time, homogeneity and non-diversity has become the normal and dominant points of view. As creative people, we create within these systems, we contribute towards them, and we find ourselves in a position of great influence and power. What are we doing with that power? Are we reimagining a more inclusive space? Or are we reinforcing one that privileges the few over the many? Where are we all going? We are not one identity, but instead made up of multiple intersecting and sometimes conflicting social identities. These identities exist within a complex system of bias, of opposing forces of privilege and domination, oppression and resistance. Infertile, Jewish, dark-skinned, English as second language, working class, unattractive, old, non-literate, disabled, financially insecure, LGBTQI+, non-European, Black, Indigenous, people of color, female, transgender. The creative process, even with all of its good intentions, can either reinforce or dismantle these dynamics. Isn't it time we all got a bit more personal? As our world rapidly flows further into the digital and virtual realities, with all this data gathering, filtering, aggregating, this space becomes more crucial to be critically looked at. How can we change thinking modes and structures established in a different time and context? How can the differences in our perspectives and experiences foster greater creativity? If systems are all about relationships, what does a good relationship look like? When Europeans first colonized New Zealand, there was an imposing of a Western system onto an existing indigenous culture. This force of dominance and oppression caused the Māori people to suffer huge social and economic deprivation, still being felt today. One of the lasting impacts was the decline in the health and well-being of Māori compared to the Pakeha or European population. Traditional Māori health acknowledges the link between the mind, the spirit, the whānau and family, and the physical world in a way that is seamless and intertwined. And until the introduction of Western medicine, there was no division between these dimensions. During the 1980s, a reframing of the Māori health model was introduced called Te Whare Tapawhā. The whare nui, or the house, with its strong foundations and four equal sides, illustrate the four dimensions of Māori well-being. Taha tinana, taha wairua, taha whānau, taha hene ngaro. Should one of these four dimensions be missing or in some way damaged, a person or a community may become unbalanced and subsequently unwell. The model was used as a clinical assessment tool with both national and local community health services. And Te Whare Tapawhā was created during a time when I was growing up, which is now known as by some as the Māori Renaissance, where the Māori language became the first official language. Māori television and kōrero language schools opened, as well as national art and design programs, to which I was a part of. This cultural movement allowed all nation people to acknowledge our past and walk into a new future together, merging Indigenous and Western perspectives to give rise to a contemporary identity and culture. As creators, our most important gift is our ability to convey the message. Ngā kōrero. Our creative skills contribute to the passing of knowledge and understanding. How can we communicate as a vessel to give voice and shed light on what is being left out in the dark? William Du Bois was a prolific author, professor, civil rights advocate, living and working in the American South during the Jim Crow era. He was invited to contribute towards the American exhibition in the World Fair in Paris in 1900. A cornerstone of this work was a set of over 50 data visualizations representing part of a sociological study by Du Bois and his students at Atlanta University. These hand-drawn charts told the condition of Black Americans living in the rural South 35 years after the abolishment of slavery. They included information on education, health, occupation, and even land value. These data portraits were presented next to images of African Americans who were entrepreneurs, homeowners, and university students, things that Black Americans were not really associated with at that time. This body of work shows the visceral power of data to give insights into the human condition, and also the power of storytelling to promote positive stories of advancement. It shows how design can elevate the message and create impact and understanding. Even within the creative industry itself, the dominant design influence has been very Western-centric, binary, often male. The same goes for academia and cultural gatekeeping. How can we widen the aperture of design history, pedagogy, and creative influence and make space for other perspectives? Shama Bahaz, a graphic designer, relooking at her design education, noticed that many of her academic texts were created through the lens of Western narratives and references. She was prompted to start questioning her own practice, and thus began the process of decolonizing her own design brain. A reflection that led to her repurposing her Pinterest board into a platform for other design perspectives, narratives, and stories. Asking herself how she could metaphorically and literally take up space for others. It's a project which demonstrates the power an individual holds in utilizing existing systems around them to question and learn. Something that seems more crucial today than ever before. Design is a reflection of our society and an indicator of where we are as a culture. I will leave you with 3 reflections as you go upon your day. Tahi. How can we use our unique perspectives to guide our journeys as we travel back and forth across people and places, projects and deadlines? Rua. How can we use meaningful ways to convey the message, to challenge, to create significance? Toru. How can we reimagine existing systems we work within to make space for others? Let us use our perspectives to design a bigger space that is richer, more diverse, more creative, and more beautiful for it. Thank you for listening. Enjoy the rest of your day of amazing talks. Kia kaha, ka kite anō.